So remember back in summer during the Black Lives Matter protests that were going on, these two Buffalo cops, Buffalo, New York, obviously, pushed pretty forcefully the 75-year-old man, Martin Gugino. Gugino was walking back. He was walking away from this huge fucking swarm of cops. Again, another example of taxpayer dollars hard at work, in this case, brutalizing and seriously harming this 75-year-old man who was out there protesting in solidarity for the Black Lives Matter movement. And he paid a huge price. He fractured a skull. I read somewhere that he was in the hospital for a month for what these fucking sick, disgusting excuses for human beings did to him. Aaron Torgalski and Robert McCabe. And the Buffalo Police Department at first, I don't know if you remember this, I didn't either till it was brought up. They first tried to claim that Gugino clipped, even though the video evidence is very clear. These fucking killer homicidal cops shoved and pushed him, and somehow, even though with that clear video evidence, and again, Martin Gugino suffered a skull fracture, was in the hospital a month. The grand jury declined to charge these cops. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? So here's the DA. What is their name? DA Flynn, talking about this process, and then I'll show you the video so you can determine for yourself. Well, you fucking should, you just piece of shit. It's not very loud, is it?
As with all cases, since that date of arrest, a investigation continued and was pursued. There was a felony charge, and therefore it was a matter that was going to go to the grand jury. Let's be clear here, okay? This really wasn't a complex case, okay?
Then they should have definitely been fucking charged if it wasn't complex. The video evidence was very clear. Okay, I'm obviously no fan of the fucking carceral system, but there's no fucking justification or reason for cops being able to seriously injure, almost to the point of death, anybody. And then you add on the fact it was a 75-year-old man walking away when he was shoved by these fucking disgusting piece of shit cops, cracked his fucking skull open on the fucking pavement.
Hundreds of murder cases, okay, and rape cases, and child sex act cases, and burglary cases where there's DNA evidence and forensic analysis, all right, that are extremely complex cases, okay. This was not the JFK assassination, okay. This was not that complex of a case. The video that was taken speaks for itself. The reason why it took this long.
So I want to know how this fucking district attorney, this dude here, what kind of case did he present to the grand jury? Obviously not a very fucking convincing one, because you would think, like, show them the video, this is what happened, this is fucked up, this is unacceptable, these cops need to be held accountable. Seems like pretty open and fucking shut deal, right? So I doubt this dude was on the side of Martin Gugino, and I mean, it would stand to reason, frankly, that he did everything in his power to make sure these cops weren't charged with this.
Because grand juries were closed down. We had no grand juries here in Erie County for almost the entire fall.
How convenient. I bet that was just, a coincidence, and it had nothing to do with getting this story out of the media, attention waning away from it, so you can just kind of sweep it under the rug when these fucking disgusting cops aren't charged for this.
Back up again in the end of November, early December time frame there. At that time, I had numerous other older murder cases and rape cases, much more serious cases that I had to put in jury right away from a priority standpoint. So this had to go on the back burner in that regard. Grand juries were then shut down again for a second time. And then grand juries just recently opened back up a few weeks ago. So once the grand jury opened back up, this case then went into the grand jury. And a full grand jury presentation was given.
I'm sure.
And at the end of the grand jury, the grand jurors voted to no bill the case, which means that they dismissed the case. All right.
I don't understand. And you need to get rid of the whole fucking grand jury process anyways, how it's super secretive. We never really know what happens behind those closed doors. Society made that. So this dude speaking. Society made that decision. I was fair. I was impartial, and I gave them I don't believe that. There was probable cause. Most investigations involving a police officer do take time. Flynn. Issue comes down to justification. I mean, look, he's literally justifying the cops fucking doing this. Look at this. Issue comes down to justification. We in society allow police officers to use physical force. We give them a gun. We give them a baton and mace. We as a society give police authority to use force. Question comes down to if it crossed the line. Yes, obviously it did. Mr. Gugino committed a crime and broke the curfew. So he's saying, well, this dude actually committed a crime. If he wouldn't have been out there breaking curfew, breaking this crime, being this fucking 75-year-old criminal mastermind, the cops wouldn't have the opportunity to shove him violently backwards so he cracks his fucking head open on the cement as in the hospital for a month. If he hadn't been out there breaking curfew, huge fucking deal. He wouldn't have had his skull cracked open by these fucking homicidal, maniac, violent killer cops. Look at that. He had no business confronting police officers. All that had to be done was for him to turn around and arrest him. I stand by that he should not have been but that's what fucking happened, you fucking doofus. He was shoved and he had his skull fucking cracked open for walking backwards and trying to stand up in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement like any decent fucking human being should be doing. He should have been arrested. That didn't... I mean, look at this fucking DA. He's saying, well, this dude, he broke curfew. He should have been arrested, but, not the cops. Not the cops who fucking cracked this 75-year-old man's skull open and had to spend a month in a hospital. Don't worry. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's disgusting. Gugino is not part of Antifa. He did not have radio waves on him. That's all nonsense. He had his video on. All he was doing was recording a police officer. That being said, he violated a curfew. I mean, Jesus. If there were two civilians who shoved Gugino instead of officers, there's no grand jury investigation. Then why do you fucking need a grand jury for cops? Let it all be out in the open. I think that's probably by fucking design. I mean, Jesus Christ. We treat everyone the same. It's obviously not true. There's obviously a different type of justice for cops where they get to hide behind this secretive grand jury process where I would bet good money that this fucking DA is soft selling this case and doing everything he could to make sure these fucking disgusting piece of shit cops were not charged for this violent assault. Again, that almost could have easily killed Martin. Officers pushed Martin. This is from Farah Fazal, Twitter. Officers pushed Martin Gugino backward with such force that he hit his head on the pavement and laid there bleeding. He spent a month in the hospital with a fractured skull. He has brain injury. Martin is a follower of the Catholic worker movement, promoting peace and justice, and look how they fucking treated him. And there's those fucking piece of shit cops not charged. Big wonder, huh? So, viewer discretion advised. Look at that shit, dude. Cracked his fucking... And look at that. And like that one cop tried to check on him. The guy was like, no, let's keep going. And again, the Buffalo Police Department at first tried to claim that he like fell, that he tripped on his own and wasn't pushed. It's disgusting. Notice how we always have unlimited amounts of money to brutalize black and brown communities, other communities of color, other vulnerable, oppressed, and marginalized groups via massive police department budgets, the militarization of police, which continues, huge, massive portions of cities' budgets go towards this, and yet we can't get universal health care. We can't get housing for everybody. Pretty disgusting priorities, if you ask me. Look, this literally millions in dollars in salary for these fuckers to brutalize people day in and day out, whether it be Martin Gugino, George Floyd, Michael Brown, whoever else, man. It's an endless and long and fucked up list of how many people continue to be killed, assaulted, and oppressed and targeted by the police within the U.S. There's obviously no reforming the police. We need to defund the police, invest in programs of social uplift, things that actually improve the material conditions in people's lives, and not devote any more money or resources to the cops. They don't make us safe. They, again, terrorize and brutalize the most vulnerable among us, and for people standing up and speaking out against police brutality and violence. People like Martin Gugino, who had his skull fucking cracked by these killer cops, spent a month in the hospital with that fractured skull, and the cops who did it, nothing fucking happened. There's no reform in that system. Defund the police, work towards abolishing them. There's no reform in it. Like the video if you like the damn video. Subscribe for more content. And all power to the people. Peace. Much love. Leave your comments down below if you haven't.